Hello friends, welcome to Effector Du Jour. Mick Du Jour here. There's going to be some high volume antics going on today because we're looking at the high power from crazy tube circuits. Everything else that's going on around us, you'll have an idea of what it's trying to emulate, being this and this. This is a 1973 Hiwatt DR103 Custom 100. This is the amp. You're going to be hearing that on the end of the Colour Sound Power Boost, which is a Stu Castledine 18 volt version. Real deal. The PRS HDRX20 is a more sensibly powered amp that's kind of more in the real world, and you're going to be hearing that on the end of the high power. So job number one, we're just going to compare the two. I'm going to put these in because it's insanely loud, and I'm also playing guitar with a P90 pickup. This is a Collings 290 DCS. Feels appropriate for what we are about to receive. Let's hear the Hiwatt first, shall we? I'm going to turn it on, and who knows what's going to happen next. It's kind of working. It's not absolutely cranked. The master's about there. The channel volumes are kind of there and there, so it's fairly loud, as you can tell from the dB meter. What happens when you turn the power boost on is really interesting. It's properly nuts. Hard to know exactly what's going on because I've got my earplugs in, but it just pushes it absolutely over the top, and the power boost goes from this really nice clean boost thing that it can do all the way into proper over the top crazy fuzz, which is what the right hand side of the high power is doing. This is to emulate the power boost pedal. All I want to do at the moment is set it up, and you'll hear the PRS with the high power on and the Hiwatt with the power boost on, and we'll just see how close or far they are. that's really interesting. Like I say, kind of hard to hear with the earphones in. I'm getting the feeling that actually tonally, the high power isn't a million miles away. Just for the record, you're hearing through exactly the same speaker stacks, right? This is a stereo cabinet, it has the same speakers left and right. I've got the PRS going through, I can't remember which side, one side, and the Hiwatt going through the other. And the microphones and the recording chain is exactly the same. So the variances you're hearing are the pedals and the amps. Mid-range is in a completely different place, which you might be able to figure out with EQ. But actually, that kind of raggedy-ass nature of the overdrive, the way it just kind of melts into this huge rhythm guitar sound, it's really arresting, it's really dry, there's nowhere to hide because there's no reverb and delay going on. But just for a very, very quick comparison, the audio will tell the story. Actually, I think we're definitely in the ballpark. Obviously, the PRS is nowhere near as loud as the Hiwatt, or at least it wasn't shaking my bones as much. Okay, we're going to switch things up a bit. I think we've heard enough of the Hiwatt for the minute. Going to switch things up a minute and try something different. Different guitar, so Strat. The high power has a really cool feature where it has its own effects loop, right? So you can put pedals in between the overdrive pedal side of it and the amp side of it. To wit, I've added a Catalinbread Echorec and the rotary speaker emulator in a Wampler Terraform. The Hiwatt's gone, you're only hearing the PRS now, so the lower power amp. So how I've got it set at the moment, there's a giant leap between the volume of the amp and what the overdrive section of it is doing, and a great increase in brightness as well. No doubt you could figure that out with bright switches and treble controls and such. Going to engage the amp side. What we can hear the high power adding there is much more of that glassy Hiwatt top, right? So you get way more of the amp character by engaging that side of it. And also there's a couple of options on the power, on the amp side, where you can go between like a 50 watt Hiwatt and a 100 watt one for a bit more squash on the 50 watt side. And then you can either have the bright channel, the normal channel, or you can link them. Now we're going to add the effects, right, which are coming out of these two jacks here, which is the high power zone effects loop. So we'll turn them on one at a time. First the Echorec. Very different experience than the kind of thing I'm used to. Does it sound like the cranked Hiwatt? I don't know. There was a mid-range thing happening in that amp that was all itself. Maybe you could get a bit closer by messing about with the EQ a bit more. What I really love though, God, I'm really hot. What I really love is being able to really dial that power boost in, or the overdriver, whatever you want to call it. They were various different types over the years. Being able to dial it in at different levels of master volume and overdrive, because the actual power boost in its 18 volt mode with no master volume is so hard to use. It's so crazy loud. So you can shape it really nicely. Really like that. Similarly, you kind of get a version of that on the amp side too, with the 50 and the 100 watt version, and being able to blend those channels, plus a 3-band EQ, plus, you know, a master volume arrangement in terms of gain and output. I really like it. I think it's definitely not another tube screamer. It's definitely not another fuzz. The combination of what's available there. And I deliberately had the PRS, the dear old HDRX20, set pretty flat and boring sounding. It can sound much more exciting than that. but for the purposes of demonstration to what the high power can add to like a humdrum set amp. Pretty impressive indeed. Okay, hope that was fun. It's always good to crank the Hiwatt. Bless it. Bless it. Yeah, and I guess we'll see you again soon on Effector Du Jour. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.